The rain hadn't stopped for 3 days. I could hear it drumming against the metal roof of the watchtower. A relentless, rhythmic pounding that felt less like weather and more like something trying to get in. I took this job for the silence. That was the irony. The ad in the paper was simple. Firewatch, Sector 4. Isolation, pay included. I should have asked why the pay was triple the standard rate. The tower itself was old. It smelled of damp wood and stale coffee. In the center of the room sat a heavy metal desk, and on it, a single flickering CRT monitor and a binder. The binder was labeled Protocol, handwritten in black marker. I sat down, the chair groaning under my weight, and opened it to the first page. There were no welcome notes, no instructions on how to operate the radio, just a list. Rule number 1. Keep the door locked between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m., even if you hear knocking, especially if the knocking sounds like metal. Rule number 2. The monitor shows the perimeter cameras. If camera 4 goes static, do not adjust the feed. Turn the monitor off immediately. Wait 10 minutes before turning it back on. I chuckled nervously. Okay, I whispered to the empty room. Creepypasta stuff, got it. But then I read rule number 3. Rule number 3. If you see a light in the woods, do not use the binoculars. It is not a hiker. It is not a fire. Lay on the floor and stay below the window line until the light passes. I looked up from the binder. Through the rain-streaked glass, the forest was a wall of black. Endless. Silent. And then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw camera 4 flicker. My heart hammered against my ribs. I remembered rule number 2. Turn the monitor off immediately. My hand hovered over the power button. The screen buzzed, the image of the forest path distorting, twisting into gray noise. For a split second, inside the static, I thought I saw a face. I slammed the button. The screen went black. Now, the only light in the room came from the small red LED of the radio tower blinking outside. The silence in the cabin was heavy, suffocating. I looked at my watch. 11:42 p.m. I had to wait 10 minutes. Those 10 minutes stretched like hours. Every drop of rain sounding like a footstep. Every creak of the tower swaying in the wind sounding like a whisper. 11:52 p.m. I reached out and pressed the power button again. The monitor hummed to life. The phosphor glow illuminated the desk. Camera 4 was back online. The path was empty. Trees, mud, rain. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. But then, knock. It came from below, the metal door at the base of the tower. Knock, knock. It wasn't a fist. It sounded like something hard, something metallic striking the steel door. Rule number 1. Keep the door locked, especially if the knocking sounds like metal. I froze. The knocking was rhythmic, deliberate. It wasn't the wind. It wasn't a branch. Then a voice, muffled by the storm, drifting up through the floorboards. Open up, it said. It sounded like me. My own voice, calling from outside. Please, the voice mimic said. It's cold out here, let me in. I grabbed the binder. My hands were shaking so hard I nearly ripped the page. I needed to see the other rules. I turned the page to rule number 4. Rule number 4 was written in a different ink, red, jagged letters. If the knocking stops suddenly, do not look at the window. It has climbed the tower. The knocking below stopped. Complete silence. Even the rain seemed to hold its breath. I sat in the chair, paralyzed. My back was to the window, the large panoramic window that offered a 360-degree view of the forest. I heard a sound, not metal this time, wet, slapping, like raw meat hitting glass. It was directly behind me. I stared straight ahead at the monitor. I couldn't turn around. Rule 4 said don't look. But the monitor was glass too. And in the reflection of the dark screen, I saw it. A pale hand, fingers too long with too many joints, pressed against the outside of the glass. And above it, a face. It had no eyes, just smooth pale skin where eyes should be, and a mouth that was smiling way too wide. It tapped on the glass, right behind my head. Tap, tap, tap. I closed my eyes. I squeezed them shut until I saw stars. I started reciting the rules in my head, over and over. Don't look, don't look, don't look. The tapping got louder, then a scratching sound, like a diamond cutter dragging across the pane. I can see you looking at the reflection, it whispered. And the voice wasn't mine anymore. It was a sound like grinding stones. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I waited for the glass to shatter. I waited for the cold air. I waited for the end. But the sun came up. I woke up on the floor, curled in a ball under the desk. The rain had stopped. The birds were singing. I stood up, my body aching. I looked at the window. There were no cracks, no shattered glass. But there, on the outside, in the condensation of the morning dew, was a handprint. A handprint with 7 fingers. I quit that morning. Left the keys on the desk. Left the binder open. But sometimes, late at night, when it rains, I still hear that knocking. And I never, ever look out the window